In patch 1.2, there's been lots of attention on decks like Heimer Vi and Ezreal Karma, but there's been a number of champion combinations with extremely high win rates, with extremely low play rates. I will talk through the top 10 champion combination win rates from patch 1.2 so far and some decks that feature these combinations. Zed and Katarina have the 10th highest win rate together in patch 1.2. Lots of their decks are around the early game aggression, like this deck with 17 cards costing 3 mana. It features cards almost with a 50-50 split of Noxus and Iona. This deck is all about attacking frequently, using Katarina's Rally, whilst enemies are stunned or recalled. This works perfectly with Fae Blade Twirler, which gains an additional 2 power every time a card is stunned or recalled. To continue this theme, there are plenty of cards that stun in this deck, such as Arachnoid Sentry and Concussive Palm. This deck also features Ravenous Flock that deals 4 damage to a stunned unit and only costs a crazy 1 mana. Zed and Battering Ram both synergize with the stun recall support. Zed will create a living shadow every time it attacks, and Battering Ram gains 4 additional power every time it attacks. Your opponent won't be able to deal with the constant pressure of attack related effects, and this is also why Cat and Zed combo so well. The aim of this deck is to beat your opponent through combat, using barrier to prevent your units taking damage. Lux and Shen both use the barrier keyword and work around protecting allies by using expensive spells. This is seen in the deck where 12 out of 15 spells have a cost of 4 or more. Summon Greengade Caretaker in early game, but try to keep her alive as long as possible with various spells, and she gains 2 damage every time an ally gains a barrier. Some spells that allow this include Ripostate and Spirit's Refuge. Bright Steel Formation and Stand United are some strong late-game barrier cards and can use their barrier effects to close the game through no damage being taken. For optimal use Bright Steel Formation on a turn you are defending. Shen and Lux combo well as the barrier spell cards, which also help Shen level up, can be used as mana to allow Lux to cast her final spark, which can quickly finish off your opponent. Misfortune complements a Lucian rally-themed attack really well and fits in perfectly into an otherwise mono Demacia deck. This is a standard mid-range deck with most cards costing 1 to 4 mana. The aim of this deck is to simply attack as many times as possible. This can be done with the Scout mechanic on Grizzled Ranger, or the Rally keyword on cards like Relentless Pursuit. This deck is effectively a Bannerman deck, and luckily its Allegiance effect will almost always come off, except when Misfortune is the next card in your deck. The Barrier keyword also fits into this deck with Bright Steel Protector and Ripostate helping you have favourable fights. Lucian and Misfortune combo perfectly, as Misfortune's effect will activate every time you attack. Leveled up Lucian rallies every time an opponent dies for the first time each turn, meaning Misfortune can pull off her effect many times and easily level up. This is a strange little deck that revolves around frostbiting your enemies and supporting cards that work with units over 5 power, utilizing Ashe and Sejuani's frostbite support and 5 base power that they have themselves. There are several cards that support 5 power units. Babbling Dirge can help draw a card with over 5 power. Trifarian Assessor will draw a card when summoned for every 5 power card you have, and Ethorian Trapper can create a 5-powered Enraged Yeti close to the top of your deck. The best cards in this deck have 5 power. Ashe, Sejuani, Thorian Halfguard, and even Trifarian Glory Seeker, which can challenge Frostbite units for quick damage. This deck supports will allow you to fully optimize these cards for combat, Frostbite, and buffing. Frostbite means an opposing card will temporarily have 0 power. This is perfect for spells like Culling Strike and Reckoning, which instantly kills a unit with Frostbite. Ashe and Sejuani combo well as they both work well, having 5 power, and also work with all the support cards in this deck, as well as both featuring the Frostbite keyword. Like Lucian and Misfortune, this deck also revolves around frequent attacks, but features support from Freljord instead. The game has a very strong ramp to mid-game with 35 cards costing less than 5 mana. No Lucian deck is complete without Senna, and this deck features 3 copies of her to support Lucian quickly level up and start using his leveled up rally ability. This is supported with challenger cards like Laurent Duelist, ensuring your quick attack cards can challenge units that can instantly be killed. This deck also features Babbling Dirge, but can be used to draw either Cythria the Bold or Sejuani, 2 key cards for closing the game. Lucian and Sejuani combo well, as Lucian's frequent rally attacks will allow you to quickly damage the Nexus, quickly leveling up Sejuani and allowing her leveled up Frostbite ability to help you win the game. This deck works all around power kegs with Thresh and his Shadow Isle's death support. You'll be wiping out the opponent using Shadow Isle's excellent board clearance spells, with their effects being amplified by power kegs. Dreadway Deckhand and Petty Officer are just 2 of the many cards that can bring out power kegs in this deck. Each power keg that is stacked will deal an additional 1 damage when used with a damaging skill or spell. This works with spells such as the Box and Withering Whale, meaning you can quickly wipe out your opponent's side of the board by simply linking their effects to some power kegs. The Rekindler and the Dreadway mean you will have a strong finish to the game through champion revival and damage amplification. Thresh and Gangplank work perfectly, as the depth of your units, including power kegs, can quickly level up Thresh. Gangplank is obviously key to this deck, as he can easily summon power kegs. This is a very standard death theme deck that features They Who Endure. Effectively, you're trying to kill as many of your own units to summon a hugely buffed up They Who Endure in endgame. This deck features support from Elise, who can quickly rack up deaths by generating Spiderlings. Spiderlings are a key part of this deck, with Elise and Hapless Aristocat generating them easily. The aim of this deck is to use these to block attacks to activate the effects of They Who Endure in late game. Use Withering Whale and Neverglade Collector to heal the Nexus to help you survive to a late game, to eventually summon the They Who Endure to win with Overwhelm or Atrocity when combat is proving challenging. Kalista and Elise work perfectly together, as Elise can summon lots of Spiderlings which can easily be killed to suit the theme of the deck. Kalista levels up when a unit dies, including the death of Spiderlings which Elise generates. This deck is very similar to the previous Gangplank deck, but features support from Misfortune and Piltover and Zorn instead. It is very aggressive, with 24 cards costing 3 or below. Setting off power kegs straight away with Crackshot Corsair's ability will allow you to hit the Nexus for extra damage early on. This deck features support from Piltover and Zorn, with the follower Boomcrew Rookie and spells like Mystic Shot, which will both have their damage increased when used alongside powder kegs. This deck also features a very powerful late game with the Siren, which can amplify damage further, or Riptide Rex with his powerful cannon barrage. Gangplank works perfectly with Misfortune, as you can use Misfortune's damaging ability to help set off the power kegs. This effect activates every time you attack, so you'll have no problem setting them off for optimal use on every opponent and the opponent's Nexus. This is another deck that revolves around death, but focuses more on the ephemeral keyword, with some spell support from Iona. It is also very aggressive, with 27 of the cards costing 3 or below mana. Shark Chariot is a famous ephemeral card that revives itself attacking every time you attack after its first death. This works perfectly with cards like Soul Shepherd, which buffs ephemeral cards. Neverglade Collector will keep your Nexus healthy, draining 1 damage from your opponent every time an ephemeral card dies. This also synergizes with Blighted Caretaker, who kills a unit when played to summon a further 2 ephemeral saplings who will also die. Iona spells like Death Mark can be used to give ephemeral to your opponent's cards, whilst Dawn and Dusk can be used to summon 2 exact ephemeral copies of an ally, synergizing perfectly with the Shadow Isles. Kalista and Hecarim combo perfectly, as Kalista levels up when units die, which will be frequent with the ephemeral keyword. Hecarim summons 2 ephemeral spectral riders and buffs all ephemeral units but damage by 3 when he's on the field. These cards were literally made for each other. The final deck features 3 champions. The deck revolves around damaging your opponent frequently to activate Plunder and level up Sejuani for a frostbitten finish. It is very aggro with 34 cards costing 4 or less. Yordle Grifter and Warning Shot is one very easy way you can activate the Plunder keyword. Yordle Grifter's Allegiance effect can also help you draw a card easily from the opponent, helping Twisted Fate level up. Omen Hawk and Fury of the North are included to help buff your cards, ensuring they can stay alive long enough to continue damaging the opponent's Nexus. Citrus Courier and Riptide Rex are just 2 examples of extremely powerful plunder cards with effects that you can use to close the game. Misfortune, Twisted Fate, and Sejuani work well together. Misfortune's ability can easily deal damage in multiple rounds to help level up Sejuani. Twisted Fate's Red Destiny card can damage the Nexus, so this will also help link up with the Plunder and damaging Nexus theme of the deck. Thanks once again for commenting, liking, and subscribing, guys. It's really motivating me to continue making content like this. Once again, please leave comments on what you'd like to see me do next. I've got some really good ideas, and your comments will just help them come to life quicker. Thank you very much, guys, and see you next time.